It's the third episode. We got some decent ratings. People loving us on iTunes. Like, I think we are a hit.
I think so too. I mean, if you type in right now, we used to, ours pop up. The whole title pops up.
Did you do this not on your phone?
Oh, it goes by the phone, what you've been typing in?
Right, because I feel like you probably searched it before, so your phone's like, oh, okay, this you searched this earlier, so let me just pull this
Oh,
up.
I thought it was because we would hit out here. They breaking us up. It's like Google. When you type it in, we the first one to come up.
I mean, I hate to bust that bubble, but I would just suggest you just ask your wife to look it up real quick. Not obviously not now, but ask your wife to look at it and be like, hey, am I as famous as I think I am? Because I'm probably not.
Well, in Japan, I used to be famous. I used to be out here in these streets. They used to know me by name.
But no,
So, oh no, go ahead.
But no, like I'm feeling good. Like I'm, this is going well.
Well, I mean, hey, I trust you. I finally listened to both episodes. I got past my voice. Yeah. I realized I am a funny dude. Maybe what people have been saying is true. Because my wife used to always say, you're so funny. I'm like, no, you just laugh at things I say. I don't think I'm funny. I know some people that's hilarious. But I had some nice little zingers on there on those episodes.
You get yours in. You get yours in.
Right.
I feel like it's time to get things going. What do you think, Matt?
Let's rock and roll.
Today, we're talking about the 2021 version of the video game classic Mortal Kombat. You're listening to episode 3 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. I don't know why I come up, but
if you got to emphasize, you're excited.
I am excited. So, like, how you feeling, Matt?
I'm feeling good, actually. This could be a old man thing, or I don't know how to explain it, but man, I just bought a new couch. It got delivered yesterday. I'm super excited about this couch.
What is so special about this couch?
Like, that couch is older than my son. We had it since the last time I was in Japan. So we finally, Uncle Joe came through with that extra money. So I had to put it back into the economy, the Japanese economy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with stimulating that global economy. I mean, we're all one earth, right?
That's what they say. So, and if you can tell, sorry, listeners, but yeah, it's a nice blue. Oh. And like that, and it like the recline, like the head goes back, so it's like a little recliner, but not recliner, and it's big enough that like one person can sit all the way on, so you can still lounge and everything. And man,
I see you got your great America blanket back there.
Oh no, that's just a blue. Don't. It's just a blue with white stars. That's all it is. And I also got my favorite comfy pillow, my WWE pillow. So WWE send me free stuff. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of that, are you a wrestling fan? Did we ever go talk about this?
We have talked about this. I am not. I've seen wrestling. I appreciate it for what it is. But I'm not a huge wrestling fan. Like, let me roll back. If wrestling was on, if I had the option of watch wrestling on TV or turn the TV off and just not have any entertainment, I would turn the TV off.
Damn, you don't mess with wrestling like that?
No.
Tell me what is it that you don't like about wrestling?
So I know WWE, you really wouldn't qualify that as a sport, right? That's more entertainment, right?
Well, they define themselves as sports entertainment.
Oh, so it's a mesh. I'm not a huge sports person. So if somebody were like, here's some tickets to a basketball game, I would go to a sporting event, but I don't want to spend time watching it on TV when I could be watching something else.
I guess this is one we have to agree on, because I love me some wrestling.
How you gonna disagree with my opinion? Like, I'm not saying no one else should agree.
That's your opinion, but you're wrong though. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with being wrong. But I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid, grew up, loved wrestling. And even though now, like, I don't watch it as much for the simple fact that being over here, it's a 14-hour difference and we got to be like, it doesn't air the same. But I listen to different podcasts to keep up to date on everything, and like the big events, like the pay-per-views and the WrestleManias I watch. Yeah, I love me some wrestling. I even got into, they got here, New Japan Wrestling. That's their promotion here. I've been getting into that too.
So while I'm not a fan of wrestling, my wife and I, we follow this guy on YouTube whose name I'm not going to remember in this moment, nor am I going to add it in the show notes. But we follow this guy on YouTube, and he sometimes does like video essays on wrestling, and they
Mhm.
are really interesting. Like he did one on the history, like Undertaker's history,
Mhm.
and then he also did one on New Japan Wrestling, where it was tag team group. Like it was like an American and I believe a Japanese guy, and like their
Best
whole,
friends.
huh?
I know what's the name of the group.
I don't remember,
Oh.
but like their whole trajectory where like they came up together, and then there was a point where the one of them like betrayed the other one and joined like one of the rival clubs and beat him up, and it was very interesting, like just the
The
whole
Bullet
story
Club.
of it. Yes, the Bullets.
Yeah, Bullet Club. Yeah.
I that whole stuff, like how he's like breaking everything down, it was really cool. And then he also went in about like there was a female wrestler who was pretty, I wouldn't say pretty big, but she's popular. Not popular, it's not the right word. She was good, but she wasn't super popular. And she's one of those wrestlers that tries to build up like younger wrestlers coming up.
Mhm.
And I believe she recently retired. This was like these videos came out like pre-COVID, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so like the whole story about all that is really interesting. But you know, it was nice to have just an overview. I'm not trying to watch like the day to day.
But I'm just saying, but you see how he did the overview. Wouldn't it be good if you watched it in real time to get to that point?
Not really.
So you're saying that I can tell you right now the story of Winter Soldier and Falcon and tell you the synopsis of it, but wouldn't you enjoy it if you watched it all the way through?
That's a horrible example
How
because
to me that's the same thing.
that's no
You can watch
because
every episode to get the small thing, to the and it builds up to the end, or I can just tell you like this dude did, like this guy did on YouTube, and tell you what happened.
no, what I'm saying is that's a bad example because like I've been telling you as those episodes have been airing my thoughts on each individual episode. And I'm like, if somebody would just gave me like the cliff notes, I would have been a lot happier.
All right, so then basically, should we have a wrestling segment on the show to where I give you clip notes of what happened?
No, but if we have a guest that enjoys wrestling, have at it. In the outline, I would make a big section for you guys' wrestling corner.
All right, deal. I want you to make a note of this, and we're gonna post it just like this, no editing. That we're gonna have a wrestling segment where I can talk about wrestling. I don't know who we know that likes wrestling like I do, but yes, we need a wrestling segment.
Yeah, like as if that is something y'all talk about while that guest is there. That's not gonna be some every episode stuff.
Nah, but I'm saying, but you got to participate. You got to ask questions like you genuinely interested.
I'll jump in where I can.
That means this is gonna be my episode. This is gonna be me leading the way. That's
This
fine.
it's gonna be you doing the research. It's gonna be you writing in the outline.
I don't need to do research. Wrestling is in me. That's
I'm,
gonna be off the dome things.
I'm gonna play the part of Matt. I'm just gonna show up 10 minutes before we record. Like, all right, what's going on, guys?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I took a nap earlier. I set my alarm for 8:45. So as soon as I got up, I'm about to jump right on this podcast.
You just don't know how many articles I read today about this movie. All right.
Really? I just what I just showed you too. I watched the movie. I'll look on Wikipedia, get my details, and that's all I needed. Once we talk about it, we'll see how that pans out. You might say some stuff that I didn't know was going on.
Now, like so I didn't really learn a lot about the movie. Like the last episode when we did Earwig, I learned so much reading those articles. Like beyond like the wiki, like just the behind the scenes where it's like I don't appreciate this more, but it's nice to know why the issues we had with the movie existed.
Right, right,
So yeah, but yeah, I spent most of today researching since we decided to do this movie today.
right. But also wanted to add, like, so we have AFN and Armed Forces Network TV where they show like we don't get commercials. We get military commercials and stuff like that. And when we get our shows, they had a commercial where it was like see something, say something, right?
Okay.
And this leads into something.
Is this like back when we would get DVDs and they're like, would you download a car?
kind of like that. Yeah. He's like, if I could download a car, I would. Right. But like, I've always had this thought in my head. I just never said it out loud. So my son was watching it and he was like, Daddy, to me, that sounds like snitching. And like, they say, see something suspicious. Well, if something I think is suspicious, somebody else might not think that's suspicious. And I was like this, I think you're right.
Snitching is in the eye of the beholder, huh?
And that got me thinking about the whole Karen stuff, about how they call cops on people for like for what
10 minutes in, people, we're getting to the real stuff here.
Exactly. I'm full blaze. I'm coming out, baby. I'm hot
pow,
right
pow,
now.
Pow, 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 pow.
So it get to the point where like they're always like, if you see something, say something. But my whole thing was always be like, unless somebody's not in like danger, I'm on my own business. And basically that's what my son was getting to. Just because one person perceives something that's suspicious or something like that, you don't need to tell on them.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second. So let's say you are a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a lot of stuff to being a woman, a lot of safety stuff, right? Because, some man could just accost you, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you are leaving your apartment and some man is trying to get into your apartment building where you have to do like a little key code thingy. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to, what is the term when you piggyback? He's trying to piggyback off you.
Right.
And you're like, hey, man, nah, I can't do that. Like, can you let me know you live in this apartment? Because like, I don't know you. So in that situation, I'm not sure if you remember that specific one. She should have let him go in, or like, what is your take on that?
Okay. That exact same thing is I have on my apartment. And there's plenty of times I let people go in.
Okay. But I also said you're a woman in this situation who you can potentially be attacked.
Okay, so my wife has let people in too.
Okay.
By herself. She told me this.
Okay.
Because like really, I don't know who these neighbors, I don't know my neighbors. I know the dude, I know the people next to me, and I know a couple people because I see them around, but I don't know everybody who lives there. So who am I to be like, nah, man, you can't come in? Because I always think like this. Let's reverse this, right? So say if I was coming in and I had stuff in my hand or whatever, groceries coming into my place, and I'm like, oh, hold the door for me. And they like, no, I'm not letting you in. Well, you don't live here. I'm like, no, I do live here. Just left the door in and this and that. I'm like, I mean, sure. I guess you're thinking of the worst case scenario where I guess this is a trick and I'm about to drop these groceries and assault this person or something like that. But if I guess I base everything off, treat people how you want to be treated. I mean, sure, some things can go left if it's the wrong person and it's a crime or something like that. But maybe this person does live here. And who am I to monitor who lives in this building and who doesn't?
No, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. But it's just you and me here. And I just want to, at the very least, put something in the ether out there of the others of varying opinions.
No, I understand that too. I understand the bigger picture of the PSA they're putting out is, terrorist acts and stuff like that. And of course, if you see something, I guess not a bag sitting out there or a dude taking pictures of the apartment, something out of the ordinary type of stuff, then yes, report it. But hey, why are you standing out there or whatever like that? I'm like, it's not my business. I'm on my own business and we go from there. And also another thing is it's not my job to confront that person.
No, that's true.
Like you see all those people, if I really felt some type of way, hey, there's a dude out here taking pictures of X, Y, and Z, or there's a dude out here like that.
What are you about to say?
Huh?
What are you about to say?
No, man, I'm all right. I'm trying to keep it low key.
If you see something that you feel, a little leery about, it's like some unsavory character out and about, and you see something, finish that sentence.
Well, no, you're supposed to say something. But what I'm trying to say
who you saying it to?
Who am I saying that to?
Yeah.
To the MAs. The military police.
Okay, so the police, you gonna call the police?
No, that's for them. I won't never do unless it's some crate. Unless for me to do it, has to be something out of the ordinary.
So like
not it has to be something like basically, where you see those memes would be like, I'm not sure if this girl likes me and she's giving you all these hits, but you're oblivious to it. It has to be something blatantly to me that I'm gonna.
But like that's the whole thing. Like if you see something like just where it just a situation that kind of puts you off, like okay, it's either confront the person or call the police. And either way, things more than likely could be taken to an extreme. So
Most likely it will take it to the extreme no matter what.
So it's like
that's why it's better to be.
It's better. So like if you have a weird feeling about something though, you should just fight that weird feeling and just don't do anything about it.
Nah, write it down. Take notes or whatever you got to do. Like for example, if I came to my place of employment and there was a suspicious looking person doing something that I know he's not supposed to, i.e. taking pictures of where I work at, I know that is a no-no. I'm not going to confront that person. I will tell the proper people.
So you would
wait, hold on. But that's something that's very specific. Now, if that same person was just standing out there looking suspicious, but not doing anything wrong, just looking suspicious, maybe he just is a suspicious looking dude. That has nothing to do with me. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if he has to be doing, that person has to be doing something legitimate, not just my assumption, like maybe he might do some things.
I mean, I just feel like
so that means you're the type of person, you're not letting dudes piggyback on you.
It depends on the situation. I personally have never lived in an apartment that needed like a code or anything. Although ones I've lived in, it's just like a free for all. But at jobs I've had, I have let people piggyback on in. I've never been that person that's like, hey, you can't come through. But
why not?
I didn't feel unsafe.
How did they look? Did they look unsavory? Did they look suspicious?
There were times where I'm like, I wouldn't hang out with this person, but I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Now I think about it. Last place we used to work at, there was a lot of unsavory characters there who I wouldn't hang out with.
Correct. But yeah, so like it's just I don't know, like this is a very complicated topic that like on one hand, like I understand like if you don't feel all right about something, say something, right? Which is the whole theme of your whole advertising campaign.
But that's it's a roundabout way coming because you see where like you see people calling police and everything for something they perceive was suspicious, but it's really just a black dude living his life. So it's not just what you perceive to be suspicious, it is something that actually is suspicious, if that makes sense.
So what you saying, the black person living his life is suspicious?
No, that's how the person calling the authorities sees it. That's the reason why they're calling it, because this person is suspicious. Why is this person in my neighborhood type of thing?
Right.
That's why they call it. But them walking is not suspicious. Them walking, looking in car window, multiple cars or something like that could be conceived as suspicious, but like a person walking is not.
Yes, but if you feel like there shouldn't be a specific type of person in your neighborhood, then you're going to find that suspicious, right?
If you're that type of person, but I'm not that type of person.
Right, but that's because you have the lived experience, yeah?
There you go, caping for the white man again, Chad. What's going on, man? I don't like this.
I'm gonna be real honest, Matt. I don't really know what's happening with this conversation. Like,
I know. I thought we was gonna be like, yeah, protect the black man, and you all caping up for the white man, talking about, yeah, if he looks suspicious, go ahead and say something.
Like, I'm trying real hard to be like, I'm not editing this out, but like in my mind, I'm like, I'm editing this out.
Nah, keep it in there. Keep it in there. Let it ride.
It's just. It's just coming out swinging on like some hard topics, and it's just you. All right,
well then we about to keep it because this is what we would normally talk about at work.
Like all I'm saying is like we aren't going to be able to tackle this topic like within the length of the time of the podcast, but we, good points were made on both ends, Matt.
Right, it's just something that I wanted to get off my chest and get your thoughts about everything, because that's what the podcast for.
That's very true. But on a very, very lighter note, why do you hate House Party, Matt?
I don't. I actually love House Party. I love House Party too. But the reason why I bring this up is because I was reading online how they're making a revised House Party, and they got me thinking about.
Let me ask you. Let me pause this. I have a question for you, Matt.
Huh?
How many House Party movies are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I'm not remembering, because we had one with Kid, 1, 2, and 3 is with Kid and Play. Then you have 4 with Immature, and maybe 5 with Immature. So I want to say 5.
I don't believe. Okay, so I didn't think that you knew 4 and 5 existed. So I was trying to
Oh,
stump you.
I told you I love House Party.
So there are 5. Yeah, I don't believe Immature is in 5. I saw the trailer for 5 like last week. I didn't even know it existed. Like sometimes I'll go on Tubi just to see what's going on, and they're like House Party 5, and I'm just like, this is surely a joke, right? And I'm like, oh, y'all really made this movie. Why?
Right. And then now they're making a revised, up to date House Party, and I just got me thinking about, like, why can't they come up with new stuff versus remaking? And are you a fan of all these remakes of old movies?
But it's nostalgia, Matt. Like it's built in, it has a built-in audience, right? So there's less of a risk. And at the end of the day, it's a business. So that's the whole that's the give and take, right? Business versus creative. Business has the money, creative has the ideas. And as a business, you want to have as few risks as possible with the maximum payout. So
Right.
yes, it would be great if we got original stories, but original stories don't always make money.
Right. Because I mean, like, look at Coming to America too. To me, that was just built solely off nostalgia. If you've never seen the first one, you won't know what's going on in that one.
I agree. I didn't like Coming to America too, honestly. It
Right.
just felt
I thought it was gonna be like more of a continuation, but it was just like let's rehash all these old characters from the first one.
the greatest hits.
Right.
Do you have any details on this House Party remake?
No, I just saw that all they said is the article that I read said that they casted members, but it was people who I didn't know. But the only person I did know is they said DC Young Fly is gonna be in it, and I know who that is.
Let's see. I don't
I
know.
guess maybe I should have done research for this podcast, but I don't do no research. Once I see some stuff, then I'm ready to talk about it.
That's fair. I haven't seen a House Party movie since the 90s, so
Right.
they're very fuzzy for me, but I don't know, like when's the last time you saw one?
It's been a while, but I remember House Party 1 vividly because I've seen that multiple times. When you get to 2, all right, I can do a little bit, and 3, not so much. But it's like House Party 1, like I watched it so many times. You're wrinkling up my school clothes. So like certain parts, like I love House Party.
So my question is, since House Party 1 through 3 are movies that are just drenched in 90s, would they work in 2021, the 2020s, with what we have now, like how our society is now versus what it was 30 years ago?
It all depends because like I don't know what kid I shouldn't say kids. I don't know what the younger generation like. Do younger generations still have house parties now?
That's a good question. I mean, probably. I mean, the whole my parents are out of town, let's get together thing, that's never going to go away, you know?
Right. So I mean, I guess the concept of it could still work, but
It's like, but
I mean, I guess
it's,
it not thinking about it, I guess it could work because the whole dancing, everybody's dancing now. It could work. It
but
could work.
was there an element of we can't let XYZ find out we're having this party?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't we couldn't let nobody find his party. It was kid was trying to make it to the party without his father notice. That was a plot of it or whatever. They get
Right.
to the house party. It wasn't about the parents of the house. It was more of him making it there without his father noticing.
So, I mean, you still have that hurdle of social media now.
Right. I mean, I guess so. I'm just like they could have took a version of it, took an idea and adapted to something else, and did a twist on it versus calling it the exact same thing and everything.
No, but they're gonna do that, and people in our age range and older are gonna be like, "Oh, house party! Yeah, that was my stuff back in the day," and they're gonna go see it.
I don't know if I'm gonna go see it. I don't know about that. Cause I'm just like
When
I'm
they
trying to
drop
think. What's another remake they did that I wasn't?
when they drop that trailer, Matt, you're gonna be like, "Ooh, yes."
I mean, maybe if Kid plays in it as cameo stuff, maybe
And
then I get that nostalgia in
and yeah,
me.
and you know they will. And I wish I could think of a unnecessarily remake right now off the top of my head, but I suppose I didn't do any research on your research. So I'm sorry.
Hey, no, hey, go off the top of the head. That's what I always do for everything. You mean a remake of an old movie that we used to like?
That
Hey,
has
we talking
come
about black
out.
superheroes. Let's do Meteor Man.
No, 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 not things that we want. Like to your point, remakes that they made, and we were like, why did they do this?
Oh, Power Rangers.
Whoa, that was good, man.
You talking about the newest Power Rangers movie was good?
Yes, I feel like
You outside your mind right now. You really thought that the newest Power Rangers was better than the original Power Rangers movie?
yes, but also like it has something called character development, man. Like the only time that the movie dipped was when they were like, all right, it's morphin time, and it was like fighty fight for the last 30 minutes of the movie. But that build up and learning about the characters and stuff, 100% was I was here for it.
I don't even know who you are right now.
I'm the same guy I've always been, all right?
Nah, you talking nonsense. I don't even know what I don't even know what to say right now. What are you? Wait, maybe we should have this conversation offline. I didn't know you was on this side of the table. Okay, I got so many things going in my head. I don't know what to say. So, first off, you're wrong. I don't know why you came to the table with this, but oh my god, I can't believe you said this. I'm just so discombobulated right now that you say that the. All right. You know what we need to do?
What do
We
we need
need
to
to
do?
have a review of the latest Power Rangers movie.
But you're coming to the table not liking it. So what is
But
that
I've
gonna
already
do?
seen it. But maybe you can explain to me why character development. There wasn't character development in the first one. You knew who those characters were.
No, what I'm saying is like it's so thin in the show. Like tell me tell me about Zach.
He dances.
Okay.
Uh huh. What else you need to know?
What's his home life like? Like where's his mind at? Like in situations?
I don't understand the question. What is that? So you saying that what was the character development for one of the characters in the new one? What does that have to do with them being Power Rangers?
It
We
was
don't like we didn't like Power Rangers because the characters had some deep background.
right.
We like that they did martial arts, they joined together and everything else like that. We didn't need a backstory.
Right. We were kids, but me as an adult, I don't want to see some punchy pow pow. I want, a decent story.
All right, perfect transition to Mortal Kombat. Repeat what you just said. You don't want what?
So hold up. So we just gonna skip my topics?
Nigga, I thought that was a good transition.
It was a
Oh,
good transition. It was a good
right, because
transition.
you talking about you didn't like. Damn, I thought that was a good transition. My bad.
We'll circle back. But I didn't say if I liked that movie or not, though.
Huh?
I didn't say if I liked or didn't like Mortal Kombat, though. You don't know my opinion on it.
Right.
So I don't
But
know
I'm
what you.
basing off what you said about Power Rangers. I have an idea. If you don't like kiki pow pow things on that, then I want to assume that's the same thing on Mortal Kombat.
No, I'm not saying I don't like Kiki Pow Pow. I'm just like, I want it to have a point. And just because, and even if you explain why you're doing it, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like it because your explanation could be trash.
I guess my expectations of the movie was
Which movie are we talking about?
we're talking about Power back to Power Rangers.
Okay.
My expectation movie was I didn't care for the backstory because quote unquote I know the backstory. Like I didn't need them to reinvent the wheel. I just need you to. I came there for you to do your morphin times. I didn't care for you to do this. I have a fight with my father and all this other stuff. That's not what I came here for. I came
Right.
here for you to do this morphin time and do all that kind of stuff.
And then we will have a very interesting conversation when it comes to Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Let's just hop. Let's hit my little topics real quick. So I'm gonna tell you
Like,
about this HBO show, Matt. The Mayor of Easttown, Mere.
don't give too much information out just in case I need to check this out.
Basically, the show basically the show is Kate Winslet. She's a detective. A year ago, like a girl went missing and the girl is the child of a woman she went to high school with. And the woman's like upset that there hasn't been movement on the case, but she's not necessarily upset at Kate Winslet. And by the end of the first episode, a young woman is murdered. And so it's a possibility that the disappearance and this new murder are linked. It's it took its time to kind of like build some stuff up, but I think it's gonna be a good little show.
All right, then I check it out. Then you said on what is it on?
It's on HBO. I don't know what it would be in your country.
Neither do I. So I have to find it through any means necessary.
There you go. There you go. And then my other thing I want to talk to you about is: have you seen this petition to recast the Black Panther?
I seen some headlines, but I'm not exactly sure. So educate me.
So the headlines are basically saying that the character T'Challa is Black Panther, and young people need that character in the movie because he is the sole reason why the original had so much success. So Disney has come out after Chadwick Boseman passed away, and they said we are not recasting this role. We're going to move forward, without that character of T'Challa.
Okay. Wait,
And
without the character T'Challa or without Black Panther?
throughout the character T'Challa.
Okay.
And so I'm
Gotcha.
like, okay, cool, because I don't even want to like for in this sentence, I want to say I don't even want to go into like, oh yeah, in the comic books, you know, T'Challa hasn't been the only Black Panther, but in the movies they've established that the Black Panther is a title.
Yes.
So I understand, like, yes, we all like the character T'Challa, but someone else can be the Black Panther. And I saw like comments talking about how if they make Shuri the Black Panther, they aren't gonna go see the movie. And I'm like, that's kind of messed up. Like, why can't she be the Black Panther?
Right. Okay. So just going off the information you told me, yeah, those people are idiots. Basically, that's what it is. Comes out to because yeah, it's a like you said, it's a title. Like if I try to think about another
Well,
character,
Spider-Man, right?
yeah, it's Spider Man. It's a character. It's a title that you get. It's not solely for one person.
Or
So
you could even say Captain America as well. I'm not trying to transition yet, but I'm just saying.
you transition to
I'm not trying to
that
transition
means you see
yet.
some new episodes of some things, huh? But yeah, so basically it's just a name. It's not even that. So everybody knows what happened. So what? They don't want another Black Panther movie? Is that what they want?
They want another Black Panther movie. They don't want a scene where they're like, "Oh man, King T'Challa died from XYZ," or King T'Challa's not in the kingdom. He's in another galaxy fighting or something like that. Because they're like it. The wound would just be reopened. We need a new actor to come in and play T'Challa, and like I feel like that's more disrespectful to Chadwick
Right,
Boseman.
right. Because you're gonna basically you recast them like they did Terrence Howard and
Right,
Iron Man.
right.
So right, everybody knows what happens. Either I mean, you can some way acknowledge it. He passed away, he died fighting, whatever way Disney wants to do it. But the title, quote unquote, in we talked about wrestling earlier in kayfabe, that means in storyline. So in kayfabe, there needs to be, regardless of what happened to
Mm-hmm.
T'Challa, T'Challa's no more. There needs to be a new Black Panther.
Right.
So Shuri,
Or who's whoever I can't remember Winston Duke's character's name.
right, him. Maybe they figure out a way to bring back Michael B. Jordan,
Right.
whoever, or somebody totally different. They you can't just be like that's like saying if quote unquote safe in not in what was Civil War. So right after Civil War happens, right? Robert Downey Jr. dies, and you can be like, you shouldn't cast anybody else in Iron Man or whatever like that. You have to keep going.
Right.
It's
Right.
a title, especially when you have comic books for years to back this up to where other people have had that title.
Exactly.
You have to move on and everything else like that. That's like now they're talking about with Iron Man, his daughter and everything else, and you had different people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There was some comic books. Siri was the next Iron Man. Well, not Siri. Not Siri. It was another black girl.
Oh,
Sorry.
Riri Williams.
Was Iron Man, and so you have a standard that this happened before. You can't just rely on this is the only person I know, so this is the only person I want to do it.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like I get it. Like, I get it. Like Black Panther is a very popular character, especially with kids. I don't really know if they care about the T'Challa part, but like kids love Black Panther. And I don't feel like it would be an issue if, it was just somebody else under the mask like that wasn't T'Challa.
Yes and no. I believe like T'Challa was
I'm not
the
discounting him.
king.
I'm not saying that
No, no,
he's
no, no. I'm saying like it also it'd be different if it was like spoiler Captain America and you had Johnny Walker
yeah, John Walker.
where he's quote unquote bad inside, where T'Challa was actually a good person. So if you recasted a different person to play Black Panther and it was a quote unquote a negative stereotype or something like that of black people, whoever
Are
who
you
was
wait?
under the mask.
Are you commenting on like the potential actor? Or are
No, no,
you
no. I'm saying like the potential person. So say if they did a new character and he was same thing as Johnny Walker,
Oh,
where
I
he
see.
was
I see what you're saying.
bad.
I see.
It was a film simple fact that Chala was good, emphasized the importance of Black Panther.
Okay, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's Steve Rogers and Johnny Walker. It's basically the same thing,
Right.
but if they were black, basically. Yeah.
You mean Falcon?
Well, no. Yeah. Well, we'll see how this rides. Yeah. I wasn't even me. I wasn't too keen on that the last episode. I mean, I support it, but there was still stuff where I'm like,
Okay.
eh.
Okay. So let me say this. Um Back a couple of years ago when Marvel was doing their all new, all different line, that's when they made that's when they they made Steve Rogers a Nazi, and they bumped up Sam to Captain America, and then they had Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. He was Asian, and then they were like really pushing Miss Marvel out there, Kamala Khan, and Miles Morales and so forth. Like they were like, hey, we got and Riri, we've got the characters that you know and love, but they're being played by a more diverse spectrum, right?
Mhm.
And so, like when they announced Sam as Captain America, I was like, all right, respect. I mean, I don't have any issue with it. Like at like 10 years earlier, Bucky was Captain America, and it's like none of this stuff sticks, and I don't really get why people get upset about it, because like, all right, he's going to be Captain America for a couple of years, and then they're going to give the show back to Steve Rogers. It's like it's like clockwork. And I did personally didn't have any issue with it, but then I saw a YouTube video some time ago about how them making Captain America Falcon kind of diminishes everything that Falcon did beforehand. And so when you think of Falcon, you just think, oh yeah, Black Captain America. Sam, what's his last name? Sam. Yeah. When you think of Sam, whatever his last name is, you think, oh, Black Captain America, and less Falcon and all the stuff Falcon has done in the comics before then. I can't say what he did in the comics beforehand because I don't know, but
But also, even now, like if you go strictly off the Marvel movie, you don't think of him as Falcon like that. You think of Falcon, Captain America's buddy,
his sidekick, if you will.
right? His sidekick, basically, on your
Right.
left.
Right. So I I don't hate this show, but I don't like it very much.
Now, you don't like it in general, or you specifically talking about the last episode?
In general, because I was having issues with like the first couple episodes, like when they were ramping things up.
Mhm.
I I don't know, like this is really outside of WandaVision, it's been almost 2 years since we've had new Marvel content, right?
Mhm.
And so, we come back and our reintroduction to all this stuff are like a lot smaller stories.
Right.
So I hear you like, okay, we're going to explore like what's it like, the realities of the world, after the blip. And like Sam went to the bank with his sister to try and get the loan, and that didn't work out. I'm like, I understand why we're doing this, but I don't care because this doesn't feel like Marvel to me.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, so it's like I didn't really like that. And then like they did the whole bank thing in I believe episode 1, and then we didn't see his sister again for like 2 or 3 episodes later. So it felt like you just shoehorned this in.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like it was more of like, how do I want to say this? Like they trying to make it deeper than what it was.
Yeah. Some things like I get that they are important to say. Like some of the things that the show is trying to put out there, I get, those are things that need to be said. but it just felt weird coming from a Marvel property where everything's been light and fluffy, more or less. Like yes, okay, they ended a movie with like technically killing like half of the cast, technically, but things are light and fluffy and fun, and now we're like, okay, but for real, like they was experimenting on black people. Like, wait, what?
Right,
Yes,
and that's
yeah.
the same thing that caught me off guard is where they not only did they do that, they went in depth with it and everything else like that. Now, if you haven't seen the last episode, spoiler alert, let's skip to the last episode. What do you think about Sam's speech at the end?
Yeah, it was some good stuff, but like, did we need to be forced to sit there for 5 minutes while he went off on like the black experience?
And that's another thing I thought about. It's like he's like, if I was in that situation and I'm trying to talk to them, he's not a good if T'Challa said it or whatever, it's like speaking presence. I don't know how to say it. Like it wasn't a good. It wasn't a good. It was like some random dude talking to them to make them convince themselves. I'm like, why would they listen to some dude with wings or whatever like that? There wasn't no like not heart to heart, but it was just like he brought up evidence, sure, but it was like in my mind, these people knew this anyway.
Right.
So he didn't provide any new things to make them change their mind.
He did it in a public space to guilt them into making those actions.
Right. What's the girl's name? The bad person?
Carly.
Carly. I hate her. Not for what she did, but like the whole time I'm watching it, the whole series, what she's doing is not making sense to me.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Do you know about the drop storyline?
No, I don't know anything besides what they showed on TV.
Okay, so you know that they were filming this in like late 2019, right? And
Okay,
production got halted because of COVID.
Okay.
Her storyline was supposed to be there was a global pandemic during the 5 years. And you remember when they were talking about the tuberculosis and that lady dying?
Yes.
Well, that was actually supposed to be whatever this virus was that was killing people. And her whole thing was like, once the blip happened and people were coming back, nations started like not evenly distributing vaccines.
Well, then that would have made more sense
But the thing is, we live in that now. So they were like, that would be insensitive. And so they cut a lot of that stuff and like they re-edited some things. So that's why like her stuff felt really lacking.
Right, because what she was doing where they was like they repopulation, and then her thing was to like my whole like when I was watching the last episode, I was thinking, okay, so she didn't like how they was moving them in the camps and everything. So her choice is to kill them. Okay, we'll say she did. She killed all the UN people. Does she not think that the new people are going to do the exact same thing?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point.
But like, so like her whole concept of it, and also I didn't like how Sam was babying her and shit like that. That made me mad, especially when she shot what's the girl's name? Her daughter.
Karen.
When she shot
Sharon,
when she shot her. And then he didn't immediately attack her. And he was like, oh, you want to do this? I'm like, why are you talking to her like this? Like she's your friend or whatever. They don't have a relationship. It's not like he knew they was kids and they grew up together. Same thing like when, Iron Man and Bucky and Captain America had a fight. He has a relationship with Bucky. But I'm like, he just met this girl and he's trying to be all sensitive to her after everything that she's done. And then she shoots your friend and you still trying to talk her down. I'm like, what are you doing? At that point, I was rooting for new Captain America. I'm like, we need that ruthless aggression right now.
That American spirit.
Exactly. And like, so Sam doesn't come off as a quote unquote black version of Steve Rogers. He doesn't come off as that. He comes off as Sam as Captain America, and that could be good in some ways, but it's also bad in some other ways where I don't know. I don't like the way he handled that at all.
So how do you think Steve Rogers would have handled it?
I don't think he would have talked her down once he shot somebody. I think he would have subdued her.
Yeah.
And then went from there. I don't think he would have. Sure, I think maybe he would have talked her down before. But like, for example, say if she would have shot Buck, I don't think he would have said, oh, you didn't have to do this. You went too far type of thing. I think he would have subdued her and then started talking to her. For him trying to negotiate before then, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, man, I don't know what the point of all that was. Like it just didn't add up.
Right, because it seems like he wants to play the
Both
both sides.
sides. Yeah.
He wants to be the Captain America, the quote unquote the America that loves the blonde hair, blue eye Captain America. Plus, he wants to be the black person, black superhero of Captain America that represents the black man in America who can do everything despite all the adversities that we have to deal with. But sometimes you can't be both. You just got to be yourself to where I feel like if he was just himself, it would have been better. But it seems like he's trying to play both sides.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Also, can we talk about how that suit looked like it was from a CW show?
Right. And that's another thing. I was like, why do you have the eye thing connected and everything else like that? I was like, what, you Black Lightning now or something?
Whatever the first movie he's gonna be in, they're gonna get like the real costume department in on it, and they're gonna make it right.
Right. And it just looked like exactly what you said, some Flash or something like that. And I don't know why they did that like that.
I mean, smaller budget.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. But if I had to rate this, WandaVision was better.
I agree. WandaVision was better. I had issues with WandaVision when we got to the end, but overall, WandaVision was a better ride. Like, I wish they would just not go back to the formula. Like, my issue with WandaVision is that it hit the ground running. Oh, and it was just weird and different and something we've never seen before. And by the end of it, it was just like any other Marvel movie, you know?
Right. Cause like, remember, you got on it first and you told me about it. And then remember, like, after like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, man, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on here. Why are they doing this? Why are you doing this? And you was like, nah, just keep watching it. You don't get it. And I finally got it to where I'm like, okay, then it made sense. And it was like you said, it was something new, something different. But then you're right. Towards the end, then it was just like another Marvel thing.
Right. And then this is like, how is this not just elements of the other Captain America movies where except we just go a little harder on the race stuff.
I guess Disney wants to, no matter what, wants to keep they nice, clean cut and everything like that and call it a day type of thing.
It's that whole business versus creative, huh?
See, circle it back around. See, that's why you listen to a good podcast. Everything always comes back full circle.
So yeah, I guess that is a good transition on businesses, just remaking things for, money instead of doing new properties. And that takes us to our movie today, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Doo-doo. Sorry. Insert the music at that point.
First learned about this 7 years ago on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities.
MMA fighter Cole Young seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. So I just want to say right off the bat that this description on IMDb is not accurate to this movie.
Yes.
Where to begin with Mortal Kombat? Let me shut up.
No, I was gonna say, it looks like you have some negative thoughts on it, so I'll give you my thoughts real quick.
No, I want you to go back to that question that you posed. Knowledge of the series.
All right, knowledge of the series. Anything besides the video game, that's all I have. And I don't even have all the video game knowledge. I think because I've only played like the first 3. And after that, anything after that, I never played. So one character, I wasn't like towards the end when they brought different characters in, I didn't know who they were. Like I knew who Melina was, I knew who Cabal was, but like the other ones, I didn't know who that was. So if you weren't in like the first 1 or 2 games, I didn't know who you were.
Like, yeah, I was like, they got cyborgs now? What is this?
Right.
Look like Predator?
Right.
And then I'm assuming that was Reptile that they fought?
Yes.
Okay.
And which is for me, I'm like, he looked like just like Sub-Zero Scorpio. Now he's actual reptile. I was was he like that in the game?
I mean, maybe they upgraded him.
Oh.
So yeah, my knowledge of the series is like the first 2 games. I think I had one of the games on PS3, but that's a big might. And then I saw the first 2 theatrical films, and there was a a web series. I saw the first season of that, and then there was an animated movie that came out last year, and I saw that.
Okay, I didn't see any of that. I'm basing off like I know I've seen the first two movies, maybe because what was the second one called? Was that Annihilationer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I just seen the first two.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. What were your thoughts?
So honestly, get straight to the nitty gritty. They didn't need Cole Young in this at all. He didn't provide nothing significant in there. He wasn't a good actor. Basically, I was great with all the violence, the blood, the killing. I like that. Kano starred a movie. His one-liners was funny throughout the thing, everything. So I that's where I go with it. But as far as like the storyline of him, Cole being the guy and everything, I didn't like that at all. I think they could have based that off something else.
So, are you aware that they created Cole for the movie?
No, I did not know that.
That's what I found out in my research. Yeah, man. So, what my limited knowledge of this movie series, I was like, okay, Mortal Kombat is a tournament. It's not in the title, but if I'm gonna see a Mortal Kombat property, they're gonna go to the outer realm or whatever, and they're gonna fight in a tournament to make sure Earth doesn't be destroyed, right?
Right.
And so this movie, which they called Mortal Kombat, was like Mortal Kombat. Let's get the band together.
Mm-hmm.
All it was them recruiting people and training, and people breaking the rules of Mortal Kombat and going to Earth to kill the people that were supposed to fight in Mortal Kombat. And I'm like, why is this happening? Why could we not just do Mortal Kombat? Like, clearly you have a budget. You were doing effects. You know, you had monster people and Goro and all this stuff. Why did it have to be on Earth?
Right. So doing my research that I did for this movie. So apparently the director wants it to be pre-tournament for the first movie, second movie tournament, and the third movie to be after tournament. So he wants it to be a trilogy.
Who signed off on that?
Who knows? But what's your thoughts about Kano? You didn't like Kano?
Oh no, I did like Kano. Like I'll give you my real review, but but that's just my initial thoughts. But it's like, why would you do that? Like, at least give the movie like a second title. Don't just call it Mortal Kombat.
And you know, as I was watching it, I thought they were going to transition into the tournament.
Same here, but yeah, when it was like an hour into the movie, I'm like, hold up, wait, what?
Right. That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, they're going to do this, and then they're going to find the people, and then those people are going to enter the tournament, and we're going to go from there. But they didn't transition to it. I'm like, I don't ever think you should end a movie without, like, if it's a long story, like say if you don't get it from a book and you're making this up on the fly, you shouldn't end a movie intentionally to make a second movie.
Right.
You should make the movie, and then if there's some extra stuff you need to add or some other stuff in the back end after it happens, then go from there. But it feels like they made this movie intentionally to make another movie.
Exactly. And those aren't always successful. Like your movie should always your movie should be able to stand on its own.
Right. So now where you have, I mean, there was good parts. There was a lot of good parts. I don't want to shit on the movie. But like if I was getting it from like a scale, I'll give it a B plus or something like that. But I think that it could have been a lot better, like you said, if they would have, even if the way they did it, if they would have transitioned to like maybe them getting to the tournament or something like that, and then you can see other characters. But what I think now is they don't know who's going to be in these characters or the characters is going to be in the next tournament. That's why they did the thing at the end with Johnny Cage. Wait, did we mention spoilers? It's too late for that for now.
Yeah, like look, this is episode 3. I'm sorry. We do spoilers. We come out swinging on. We used to talk about this at work. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we're spoiling.
Yeah,
this thing.
You should have read the description before you downloaded this. All right, get it together, people. You know what you was about.
If we were to just set all our preconceived notions aside, and we just analyze the movie that was presented. Me personally, I thought it was fine. Like I didn't hate it. Like some of the fights were cool. Like I really liked that fight with Jax where he shot the gun and Sub-Zero like froze it and like
Right,
the
yeah.
guns like the bullets like splintered out. That was pretty cool. I mean, the story wasn't hard to follow. The whole bit where people that are eligible to be champions for Earth Realm, they have that symbol that can transfer to one person to another, depending on if you killed someone. That's kind of cool. I mean,
I like that. I like that concept.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna assume that's something in the newer games. Can't speak to it, but that's cool. Like I was even starting to like Kano until he, betrayed everybody. But I mean, but it's Kano. Like you can't hate Kano. You just he's supposed to be a bad guy, you know?
Right. And it's kind of like where he outshined all the other people to where he ends up being a bad guy, but it's kind of like you still root for him. It's kind of like,
Loki.
yeah, like the bad guy that's cool that you still root for. It's kind of like, so when that happened, it's like, oh man, when he dies and everything.
We were rooting for you, bro. Why'd you have to do that, man?
Right.
Yeah, but it like just once more, just going off of what was presented to us and me not coming in with any baggage, the movie was fine.
Yes.
Um
On the scale, on the Chad scale from 1 to 5, what would you give it?
I give it a 3. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. All right, Matt, I'm looking at the clock and we're going to have to shut this thing down. So thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review our podcast on the various places one listens to podcasts. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at weusedtotalkpod, where Matt will post a picture of that new couch he just bought. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.